Hello and welcome back after a long time of making no videos. I do apologize, I needed some time off, but I'm back. So like the oldest request that I have right now is the C30A V6 engine made by Honda. This is a requested video by Mr. Isa Muhammad. He requested it on the Snapchat group. Yes, we have a Snapchat group. If you want to join it, add my Snapchat LordBas94, LordBas94, or you can find the snap code on my channel. Just take a picture of it and you will be added on my Snapchat, and I will add you directly to the Snapchat group for the channel if you want to discuss cars, request an engine, whatever. It's very awesome if you want to join. Alright, so let's start with the specs. But sorry, before we start with the specs, remember, if you enjoy the video, please hit that like button, get subscribed if you are new, share the video if you want to share it, and if you want to request an engine, add my Snapchat and write your request on the Snapchat group so I won't lose it. Or you can go to the Patreon page. I will put the link in the description below. Just press the link and you can write your request over there, and I will make it as soon as possible. Alright. So this engine is actually a very unique engine. This is a very unique engine. It was designed by Honda, which is really awesome, and so there are some very awesome and very unique facts in it. So let's start with the specs, because you will be surprised actually. It's a 90 degrees, not 60 degrees, no, it's a 90 degrees V-shaped engine, 6-cylinder aluminum block, 90 on the bore, 90 mm on the bore, 78 mm on the stroke, which equals 2,977 cc engine, or you can say a 3-liter engine. This family, the C family, it's a very popular family in the Honda factory, or in the Honda whatever engine lineup. And they made like a lot of engine there, the C30, the C32, the C28. I don't know, like there are a lot of engines in the C family. And if you want, I'm gonna also put the link in the description below for the Wikipedia page if you want to check the C family and check the other engines. It's a really fascinating family. The engine uses dual overhead camshaft with 4 valves per cylinder, aluminum head material, variable valve lift. Yes, this engine used the variable valve lift with variable valve timing to accommodate the VTEC technology. Forged steel crankshaft, and yes, no, I'm not. Yes, you are seeing it correctly. Lightweight titanium connecting rods, the most expensive connecting rods ever. Yes, in this engine. This is the first mass-produced engine with titanium connecting rods. I was really surprised to see that. When I was searching the engine specs, I was really surprised to see that the connecting rods in it are made from titanium or titanium, whatever you want to call them, which was awesome. Which is awesome. Can you imagine titanium connecting rods? Because the benefit of using titanium is you will keep these connecting rods will be as hard and as rigid as regular steel connecting rods, but they can rev to the moon. They can rev like, I don't know, to 9,000 RPM, 10,000 RPM if you can, which is really awesome. The engine uses also lightweight forged pistons, which is a really good option for high RPM output. 0 quality on the internals. 10.2 to 1 is the official compression ratio for this engine. 40 on the cam profile, 75 on the VVL profile, and yes, the variable valve timing on all cams, which both of them will give you the VTEC kicks in yo technology, which is really awesome. Yes, I'm not kidding. I had to use -6 quality on the what do you call them, on the camshaft and everything related to it, but don't worry, putting it on -6 will not affect quality. Automation developers, the automation game developers, they made this quality section here. Like, how can I explain it to you? For example, we all see like hot rods or like these YouTube shows that like Roadkill, whatever. They put those cylinder heads, those really high flow cylinder heads. Yes, with a very big camshaft, with a very aggressive camshaft, and all of this will give you better airflow and more power and more torque. Correct? Correct. Right. So this quality slide here, it's like the airflow meter for the cylinder heads. So as you can see, moving it up and down will decide how much airflow the cylinder heads will allow in, and at the same time how much quality or how much aggressive the camshaft is. And no, it will not affect reliability. This slide only. Of course, if you played with the bottom end quality, yes, this will increase and decrease the reliability value. The same goes for the turbo, the same goes for the fuel system, the same goes for exhaust. But the top end, no, this will not affect reliability, but it will affect like the power, the torque, and the power peak and torque peak as well. All right, so let's move on. We have a naturally aspirated engine, and we have multi-point fuel injection, single throttle body, and performance intake manifold. That's very awesome. Actually, the intake manifold and the throttle technology on this engine is really good. I mean, I was reading the description for the throttle system for this engine, and it says there is like a main throttle and a secondary throttle. Like the secondary throttle will engage with VTEC at 4,800 RPM, and that's really awesome. I mean, can you imagine the technology on this engine back then? That's very awesome. I had to use premium 95 octane fuel. 13.9 is the air fuel ratio, 81 on the ignition timing, and 7,500 is the RPM limit. Zero quality on the fuel system. Tubular headers for the exhaust, dual exhaust pipe, 2.5-inch exhaust diameter or 63.5 millimeters. We have three-way catalytic converter, twin reverse flow mufflers, and twin straight through mufflers, which we have like 4 mufflers at the end. So basically, this is a very awesome engine. And yes, sorry, I had to use plus 15 quality on the exhaust here. The final result is 270 horsepower at 7,300 RPM, like the real engine. 210 pound-feet of torque at 5,500 RPM, close to the real engine. The engine is very reliable. It's economical. It uses nearly all the octane. The emissions are low. The engine is clean actually. It's quiet with a sporty noise in the exhaust. It's responsive. It's not really smooth. Yes, 49. It's not bad. I mean, it's not like 40, but 49 is a good value. I mean, it's still good. I mean, it will not shake the car, but yeah, you cannot call it smooth. You call it normal. 172 kilograms. This is very light. This is a very light V6 actually. The engineering time is very good, but the production unit or the production time takes a while, because of course you have to CNC the connecting rods. You have lightweight forged pistons, forged crankshaft, like aluminum block and cylinder heads, the VTEC technology. All of this takes time to be produced. Engineering time is low, which is good. I mean, the engineers will crack on with it and they will make it as quickly as possible, but the production takes a while, and that's why the Honda NSX was limited. I mean, it wasn't really a mass-produced sports car. No, the numbers are limited. I don't know exactly how much, but of course, after I saw the specs of this engine, I really figured out how limited the car was and why the people loved it. Every car enthusiast loved the Honda NSX or the Acura NSX. Absolutely magnificent. And let me tell you a little fact. Actually, I was reading on Car Throttle website. Yes, I love this guy. I love these guys, and they make amazing car videos. They are 2 British guys, funny, and they make absolutely beautiful videos on YouTube. And they have like a website, and I was reading the specs and like general informations about this engine on their website, and I was surprised about the rigidity of the body. The body was so rigid and so strong actually, even if when it was made from aluminium back then, but the structure, the design of the chassis and the body was really strong. And I was reading that Ayrton Senna, that legendary F1 driver that passed away, I think 24 years ago. And actually there is a memorial. Actually, I was reading on Facebook today, there is like a memorial for it today, or like a memory day or memorial day for him. And yeah, I know him. I don't know him personally, but I've seen like videos, and I've seen the Top Gear memorial video or tribute video for him. And yes, he personally asked from Honda back then when they were designing the NSX. He personally asked from them to make the Honda NSX a little bit stiff, like the suspension, the chassis. He asked them to make it stiff on the road, to make it sporty. And they listened to him, and they made it as he requested, which is really awesome. That's, I mean, the car, the engine, the transmission, the suspension, everything about the NSX is just perfection. Alright, so yeah, I've been chatting for a long time. Let's fire up this beast. As you can hear, it sounds smooth and with a sporty noise to it at idle. Check out the titanium connecting rods. What an engine indeed. So this is a close replica of the real engine. I mean, I made it really close. The power, the torque are really correct. The power peaks, and of course the materials, the technology, the throttle body, I made it like really like the real engine, and I tried really hard for it. So I really hope that I made it very close to it. If you have some information, some notes about this engine, tell me in the comment section below, or if I made a little mistake, tell me, and so I can learn in the future how to correct it. And now, since we made a very amazing replica, let's save it and let's go out. Let's choose the engine again. So we have 270 horsepower. Basically, it should be around here. Where is it? 270. Here we go. At the HR 1.4 turbo. Well, let's go the same power. All right, so we have the Honda C30A NSX closed replica. Let's make a cologne. Here we go. This is the cologne. Choose this one. So basically, we made like another engine with the same spec, the same absolutely everything. Every single option is still the same power, same torque, same everything. But this is, let's say that you are a rich guy and you bought a Honda NSX, a clean one, and you want like to modify it. Not to modify it, you want to make it more powerful, because I mean the Honda NSX is a perfect car from the factory. It's a perfect car to be, if you have it, just maintain it and keep it as clean and as low mileage as possible. Just go enjoy it on the weekends and just park it and clean it and polish it and wax it and make it always sparkle and cover it from the rain and keep it in your garage. That's the way these cars meant to be. I mean, of course, they can drive it every day. It's very reliable. It's a very good car. It has air conditioning, of course, and it's perfect. But nowadays, in 2018, if you have a clean NSX, I would suggest if you can keep it in your garage and just take care of it and clean it and tuck it in and keep it warm and cuddly, so you can enjoy it on the weekends as it meant to be. Alright, so let's say that, for example, like you bought one and you want to modify it. I mean, of course, the first option, I mean, the exhaust is very good, but as always, I would love to start with the exhaust system, because as always, the factory exhaust systems are not really good, but this one is good, not bad at all, but still restrictive, as you can see, and the intake is restrictive. And of course, we have the option of changing the camshaft, add more ignition timing in, and the final result is to turbocharge it, or the final option. Alright, so let's start with the exhaust system. I went on eBay and Amazon and I found a lot of aftermarket kits that you can purchase with like the option of long tubular headers, as you can see. So choosing a long tubular headers will give you more torque, 6 pound-feet of torque, and the power peaks will drop a little bit and you will gain extra 2 horsepower. Not bad. Let's upgrade the catalytic converter to a high flow 3-way catalytic converter, and yes, check out the difference. 2 extra horsepower, a little bit less, less one pound-feet of torque. That's good. Change this reverse flow muffler into a straight through muffler. And yes, and if you're wondering why we are losing power and torque, because the exhaust is a little bit bigger than it should be. So you can actually go with a small diameter like 2-inch. Yes, 2-inch exhaust diameter, and you will gain more power, more torque with these new options. Because hello, we have plus 15 quality. That's awesome. 275 horsepower to 16 pound-feet of torque. So we have like extra 5 horsepower, and of course we have extra 6 pound-feet of torque just by changing the entire exhaust system. It's not cheap, I know, but it's the best option to start with. And listen to it now. Very awesome thing to start with. Now the next step is, as you can see, the ignition is like it's already in the advanced area. So let's say like if you went to the dyno, and let's see if adding extra ignition timing will it give more power. Let's see, maybe yes, maybe no. So we can actually tweak it to 84 and you will gain extra pound-feet of torque, or you can go with the option of 85. You will get the power will peak a little bit more, like extra 100 RPM, and the torque will peak extra 200 RPM. Add a little bit of fuel in, 217 pound-feet of torque, 275 horsepower. I know it's not a lot, but we gained extra throttle response, and of course the power and the torque peaks moved up a little bit, which is good. This is a cheap thing to do, it's not bad at all. But the next option is, of course, because I've seen it online. I've seen kits, and I've seen like machine shops, or not machine shops. What they call these, like performance or speed shops, that they are offering throttle per cylinder kits for this engine. Yes, I mean I didn't find any twin throttle body configuration, but I found some, not a lot, some throttle per cylinder or individual throttle body kits. So let's imagine that you bought that, and yes, check out the power, the torque. 217 pound-feet of torque used to be, now it's 218 with the individual throttle bodies, and 275 horsepower used to be, now 289 horsepower. That's really good. That's very good. And check out the throttle response from 75.8 to 67.8. That's really good increase of throttle response. And check out how it will look. Yes, it will look a little bit weird, I know that, but these are the individual throttle bodies. So basically we have right now we have 6 individual throttles for each cylinder, like short runners, different intake manifold, and of course the airbox still the same, but there is no throttle body here right now. It's just a snorkel here, and the throttles are down. Yeah, it's an expensive upgrade to do, but the results are just amazing. Let's fire it up. Very good indeed. And yes, of course, with the new, like with more fuel in, the different ignition timing, and different exhaust system and different intake system, the emissions got a little bit higher. Alright, so the next step is, I mean, I searched, but I didn't find like camshafts for this engine, like aftermarket camshaft. Maybe there are, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. So let's say if there is, there are some aftermarket camshaft that you can purchase for this engine, with the option, of course, of VTEC. or the VTEC technology will still be in. Let's say that maybe you have this option. Since you have the money to purchase this car clean, you also have the money to upgrade the camshaft if there is a kit or an aftermarket kit for it. So let's start with like perfecting the cam profile here. I want to keep it economical at the same time, but I want to add more power and more torque. So let's say screw the fuel efficiency and let's go with power. So let's see, 310 horsepower, that's perfect, 93. And because I want to make the curve smooth, I would suggest to, all right, because if I want to make it if I want to make it economical, I can just do this. I can just set it to 32. It will give me 21% of fuel efficiency, and I'm using all the octane. But check out the curve. It will start normally, and it will. All right, so let's keep it this way because this is a this is a VTEC engine. So let's say that the power will start normally like a regular V6 made by Honda, and then here at 4,400 RPM, the VTEC will kick in, and yes, boom shakalaka, we have more power. And since we are playing with the camshafts and the VTEC technology, of course you have to tweak the engine, you have to tweak the ECU. So let's raise the RPM by extra 200 RPM, and let's see, add a little bit more fuel in. I know we are losing the fuel economy gains that we gained back there, but this way, let's see. Alright, so 87 on the ignition timing, 13.7 is the air fuel ratio, 21% is the fuel economy. That's good, not bad at all. But we have right now 311 horsepower, 222 pound-feet of torque, and yes, the curve it's not really smooth as it used to be, but right now VTEC is really shown. I mean, you can see it now. But I genuinely don't like it like this. I genuinely don't like it like this. I want it to be smooth. So let's say, alright, so let's say 62 or 63 actually. This way the curve will be smooth, as you can see, and you'll still have the magic of VTEC kicks in you. 312 horsepower at 7,700, that's perfect. Right, 80, now that's too much, I think. 75. I mean, yes, if I want to keep it smooth, 80 is the option here, but we are losing a lot of fuel efficiency. So it's up to you actually when you want to tweak the cam profile and when you want to purchase the aftermarket camshaft. It's up to you to choose whatever package you want. You want the fuel economy package or the smooth curve package. But this engine came from the factory. So the factory camshaft came from the factory with a smooth curve. So if you want to keep the smooth curve, I would suggest if you can go to 89, 98, and of course with 80. All right, not that much actually. The engine, actually that's a lot of. All right, so let's say since we are purchasing a better aftermarket camshaft, let's increase the quality, as it should be like +5 quality. This way we can actually set it to 60, 65. And this one on 92, that's perfect. So 65 or 60 actually. Yeah, 60 is good. So 60, 92 on the VVL, that's good. 20.3% of fuel efficiency, and we are using a lot less octane value. That's good. So let's put more ignition in. Alright, maxed out ignition timing, that's good. Let's raise the RPM by, so let's say 8,500 RPM. Now the engine should sound magnificent. And put like high quality fuel injectors in, high quality spark plugs. And let's increase the exhaust diameter from 2" to 2.2" with these new parts. And we have 351 horsepower naturally aspirated. That's very good. That's very, very awesome and very good at the same time. Let's go mental here. I want to go mental, like plus 10 quality camshafts. That's very good. No, I don't want to go with racing camshaft. Let's say 90, and this. Let's say this one. This one will be perfect at 39, but rubbish in the graph. So let's make it smooth. 65 is smooth enough, I think, or 67. I want 21%. So 62 on 90, 21% fuel economy plus 10 quality. We have 57 horsepower, 357 horsepower. That's very good. The exhaust is perfect. No need. Actually, we can go a little bigger, like 2.5 inch exhaust diameter. 359 horsepower. That's very good. Let's fire it up. Now, as you can see, the engine idle is a little bit rough because of the camshafts. That's very, very awesome, and the headers are glowing, naturally aspirated. That's very good. Alright, so now the next upgrade you can do is, because you have the money, of course, these upgrades are not really cheap. The next upgrade you can do is change the headers to a very, very, very custom, very like handmade, very, very high quality, made by like a high qualified fabricator, racing tubular headers. Yes, check them out. This is how they look. They are very, very custom made. They look really weird actually, but of course these bends and these bends are really, really good for power and not fuel efficiency, for power efficiency and torque, and that's why they are looking really weird. So basically these are very, very custom, very custom. I mean you cannot find any aftermarket kits for these. No, I mean aftermarket kits can go all the way to long tubular, that's it, but race tubular, these are very custom, very custom made headers. So the gains are more fuel efficiency, the engine will be more loud, it will be a little bit heavier, and the power is 378 horsepower, and we have lost a little bit of torque. I know that these are not good for torque. These headers are designed for high RPM output. So let's see how aggressive we can go. Since we are going mental with the of course with the headers, let's go 100 on the VVL profile and 70 on the cam profile. That should keep it smooth enough. And since we are going mental, let's go mental with the quality of the camshafts. Let's say that you purchased the best camshafts ever, and let's raise the RPM. Let's see how much the engine can take. The engine can take up to 9,900. So let's say 9,200 after the power peaks. So we have 402 horsepower and 253 pound-feet of torque. That's massive. That's massive indeed. So let's put like if you want to keep the exhaust diameter small and lightweight, let's see which one is more light. So we have 168.9 like this. No, it's actually more light to put a bigger exhaust diameter and without bypass valves. That's lighter. Alright, so the power is good, the torque is good, everything basically is good. And okay, so dropping the cam profile a little bit, like 69 will give us 21% of fuel efficiency. And since we are going mental, also let's go mental with the fuel injectors, like purchase the best one ever on the market, which should give you like amazing results, as you can see. So if you want to run the engine on 91, you can actually do that. But no, I'm not gonna go with 91 because we are gonna lose like a lot of power. So let's keep it like this, 13.8. That's very awesome. No, sorry, no, I was speaking the other way around. If you want to run it on 91, we can actually, but you will lose a lot of fuel efficiency. Like like so. If you need to push a little bit more fuel in, like 13.5, and now you can run it actually on 91 octane fuel. That's very good. So 91 cheapy fuel on a very, very amazing engine. Oh, listen to that. This is just perfection. Perfection at its best. I mean, the whole idea actually, and this is what I want. I mean, usually I turbocharged. I mean, usually after all of these upgrades, I go, all right, let's put on a turbocharger. But since this is the Honda, the legendary Honda NSX, I would suggest just don't turbocharge it. Really don't, because when you start to put turbochargers on, you will start to break things. And of course, you need to upgrade the transmission with the gearbox, which which is impossible. I think maybe there are some companies that can upgrade, but when you start to put like a lot of power, and because right now we have naturally aspirated, we have 404 horsepower, which is really enough. I mean, the body. I mean, because you want this car to be a handling car, not a drag racing car. That's why 400 horsepower is very enough. Remember, we started with 270 horsepower. And now we have 404. The torque used to be, I don't know, I forgot the torque. How much it used to be? 200 and what? 270. Also, we lost torque actually. So it's actually, well, all right. So actually, I totally remember what was the torque. I totally forgot. What was the torque on this engine? I think it used to be like 270 pound-feet of torque. Maybe not. All right, so we have 256 pound-feet of torque, but the torque right now can go all the way to the top. No, not 270. Oh my god, I'm crazy to say that. The engine torque used to be 210 pound-feet of torque. Yes, the 210. Now we have 256. So we gained extra 46 pound-feet of torque, and we gained extra 134 horsepower, and I think this is pretty enough. And we are running 91 octane. The engine is still economical, but now the engine has more power, more torque, and the RPM can go all the way to 9,200, and it's still reliable. Check out the reliability with all of these high quality, high performance upgrades. It's 80, so it's more reliable than before. And when you start to put boost on it and cram boost in, and you need to put blow-up valves, vacuum hoses, and sensors, and it will start just to create a lot of problems, and it can actually destroy the engine. And I prefer 400 horsepower on this handling car because the handling on it is just magnificent, and 400 horsepower is more than enough. I mean, Honda gave you an engine, a perfect engine with only 270 horsepower, and it's perfect. It's perfect at 270, but 400 horsepower, it's more perfect than before. It's more sporty, more noisy, more RPM, more power, more torque, more reliability. And what did we do actually is simple. Change the camshaft with extremely high quality ones. Change the intake manifold with the intake system from single throttle body into an individual throttle body. Change the entire exhaust system with a very custom exhaust system. Add more ignition, add a little bit more fuel in, and job done. I use 91 octane fuel instead of 95, so it's actually cheaper to run, and it's more reliable. It's better this way. I mean, I would suggest if you have this car and want to tweak it, keep it naturally aspirated, because you will enjoy it more. Because with turbochargers, you will have the lag of the turbos, and you will have more piping in, and the engine will get more heavy, and you will deal with the fact that boost leaks and stuff breaks in, the engine won't start, or maybe the engine suddenly the engine will go lean and you will blow up the engine. And just keep it naturally aspirated. This specific NSX, I would suggest keep it naturally aspirated, but everything else just turbocharge it and don't worry about it, because this car is really legendary car for handling and for amazing track day or track time. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, guys, and I do apologize if I didn't turbocharge the engine, but I have my reasons, as I explained. So thank you so much, Mr. Isa Muhammad, for your request, and thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, get subscribed, watch all my previous videos, and keep requesting engines. Share the video if you want to share it, and I will see you very soon with more cool requests and even more. So goodbye for now, my friend. But before goodbye, let's name it NA, which is naturally aspirated, maxed. Sorry, what is it? Maxed out. Really, it's maxed out actually, because if you think about it, as naturally aspirated can go, the ignition is all the way to the max. The camshafts are all the way to the max. The exhaust is the best exhaust ever. So basically, what the other options are to add more fuel in, which is not efficient. I mean, adding more fuel in, yes, will give you more power and torque, but the engine will not be efficient. And of course, the other way is to put higher compression ratio pistons and cylinder heads, which means you need to open the engine. But the whole idea here is not to open the engine, because the internals are just absolute perfect. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with more cool requests, and goodbye for now, my friends.